Do you guys like see the stack of books? This is my first time doing a video like this. Kind of nervous. Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do like a reading wrap up slash TBR video. I have to preface this by mentioning that I'm not the fastest reader, so I don't read that much in a month. Probably like in a good month, probably like 3 books max. But I've just started getting into physical books, so I feel like I thought this would be a nice video to do just because you can physically see the book instead of me just talking about the book. You know, I feel like there's a difference. But yeah, we're gonna first talk about March, which honestly was a pretty good month for me, I feel like. And I heard a lot of people like Haley Pham, Tiffany, not Sarah, what's the other one's name? Anyway, I've heard a lot of booktubers and book talkers talk about how in March they kind of had like a reading slump type situation, which was like the complete opposite for me. I feel like I read a bit more than I usually read in March, but maybe that's just me. But yeah, we're gonna get into my wrap up, I guess. This is so awkward because I've never done this before. Okay, so on my Kindle, I was reading Twisted Games and I didn't finish it, so like it doesn't count. But I feel like I should mention that I'm not that invested in this book. I loved Twisted Love and I gave it a 5 stars, so I thought I was really gonna like the rest of the series. But Twisted Games just is not it for me. I don't know what it is. It's about the princess and her bodyguard and their little situation. I'm just not really into it. I feel like when it comes to Anna Hong, I hope I'm saying her name right, at least in the Twisted series, there's so much spice, and I'm learning that I'm not really into that. Like, I don't really want to read about the spice. So I feel like that's kind of throwing me off about this book and kind of about the series. But like I said, I really love Twisted Love, even though there was spice in that too. But I feel like there's just so much more in this one, and I'm just not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed Twisted Love. But we're like almost 70% of the way through it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna DNF it, but it's just not giving for me right now. But I want to finish the series, so I'm gonna finish the book. A book that I did finish in March was A Little Life. If you've been on this channel for a hot minute, you know that I've been reading this book for a hot minute, and I finally finished it in March. And if you've been here, you heard me talk about it. It didn't make me cry, but I did take a lot of breaks, so I feel like that kind of helped me, you know, mentally, because this book is a lot. And if you're thinking about reading it, check out the trigger warnings, because this book is a lot on its own. And don't try to read it in one sitting. A lot of people try to read it in one sitting, and I'm like, why would you do that? This book is sad and there's a lot in it. Like, it's a heavy book, so like I said, take breaks, read the trigger warnings. I gave it a 4 star, I believe. It didn't make me cry. Like, everybody was talking about how I made it cry. Kira on TikTok, Kira Lewis, I believe that's her name, she's the reason I read this book, because she had a lot of emotions regarding this book. I just didn't feel the same way, but it is a really good book. I just didn't cry the way she cried. If you know Kira Lewis on her TikTok, then you know she was like bawling over this book, which is part of the reason why I wanted to read it, but I just didn't cry. But like I said, nice book, 4 star. I have really no complaints. It's just really long, and you know, this is a hefty book, like 800 pages, so take that what you will. I don't really read books this long, but which is probably why it took me so long to read it. So nice book. I don't know if I'll read another book by Hanya Yanagihara if it's like this, the same, you know, type situation. The writing was really beautiful though, so maybe I will. Maybe I retract that whole sentence. Next in March, I read Love in Other Words, which is definitely the complete opposite of this book. This was a romance book written in dual timeline about Macy and Elliot, and I gave this book 5 stars. I loved this book. Like, every single page, since like the first 15 pages, I knew this was going to be a 5 star for me. I love this book. Basically, it's about these Macy and Elliot, basically how their friendship or whatever, and then they stop talking one day, and you kind of just go back and forth between past and present to figure out why they stopped talking, what happened. And honestly, this book gave me all the feels. I was happy, I was sad, I was literally crying. and then there were literally moments like I wanted to fight. Like, I loved this book so much, and at the end I really wish there would have been more, and I really wish that there was gonna be a second book of this, but there's not. But I love this book. The end was just like kind of abrupt for me, I think, because I was so into it and I was like, oh my gosh, I want more, but there isn't anymore. But it was a really good book, and I feel like I read this pretty fast. Like, it only took me a few days, but I loved it. I was literally obsessed, didn't want to put it down. Like, this book was everything to me, and that's probably a book that I would reread. Like, I love that book, enjoyed every second of it. Next, I read House in the Cerulean Sea. This book was definitely different. There's definitely a tad bit of fantasy in it, which was kind of fun, because I don't really read fantasy. Like, I don't really know what I read most of, but I haven't really gotten into like the fantasy situation. But I really like this book. I think I gave it a 4-star. It just was nothing stuck out to me. It was a good book, but if you want to read it, I definitely would recommend, especially if you're trying to get into fantasy, because there's elements of fantasy in this book, but it's not like boom fantasy. Like, you're not trying to learn like a whole new world, a whole new set of politics or whatever. It's just really simple, really basic. Also, there's a tad bit of romance, and it's dude on dude. So if that's your vibe, it was really cute. So yeah, this book was really cute. 4 stars. It was just a good book. So yeah, I think that's all I read in March, which is honestly pretty good for me. Like, I usually don't read this much, so round of applause for Kawani. So now we're gonna get into my April TBR, which is a little ambitious. Did I just buy books for this video? Yes, I did. Do I want to read them all this month? Yes, I do. Will I? Probably not, but it's okay, it's fine. But number 1 on my TBR is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I've already started it. I think I'm like 30% of the way through. It's okay for me. I picked this up because it's one of Haley Pham's like favorite books in the world. I didn't know that this was a series, first of all. It's like a trilogy, I believe, and then there's a trilogy before this trilogy, which is like the Caraval Legendary Finale series, whatever. The Caraval series, I think you're supposed to read that before you read this, but like, you don't have to. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what we're reading. We're on page 151. Honestly, it's just okay right now. I'm not in love. I'm actually kind of annoyed with the main character, but it's okay. We're kind of getting into like the plot finally, so yeah. Honestly, just not my favorite. Also kind of a fantasy book, I guess you could say, but also there's like romance in it. So that's this. Not loving it right now, but I'm not hating it. So yeah, this is what we're reading right now. I also want to read, it's right here, Binding 13 this month. I've been wanting to read this book for like the past 6 months, and I went into Barnes a few months ago and I was like, hey, do you have this book? They were like, no. So I was like, okay, and went home and cried about it. And then I went in there probably like 2 weeks to a month later, and they had the whole series. So I was like, why would you do that to me? But I only have the first book, because I'm not going to buy the whole series and then hate this book and then just have the series and I hate it. So I really want to read this month. I don't know if I will be able to, because this is a hefty book and the words are tiny. This book is literally huge. Like, I feel like this is a regular sized book and there's quite a bit of extra on it. So this is a huge book, but I really would like to read it this month. If not this month, then next month. This is like on my immediate TBR. Like, I have to read it soon, like very soon. Do I know what it's about? No, but I kind of like going into books blind, and I mentioned that before. So if you want to know what Binding 13 is about, feel free to look it up. If you want to know what any of these books are about, feel free to look it up. But I personally like going into things blind based off like people's reactions, so that's kind of my vibe. But do take with that what you will. Okay. So I just picked up The Cheerleaders by Cara Thomas, I believe is how you say her name. And I'm kind of really excited for this book. I really want to get to this book this month. I believe it's like kind of thriller-ish. It might just be a thriller, but I heard about this book a long time ago and I didn't read it. So I saw it at Walmart literally for $6.74. I don't know if you see the sticker. Hopefully I can get that off soon, but definitely want to read this. And I haven't read a thriller book in a hot minute, so I definitely want to get to this pretty soon just for the vibes. I also picked up The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I hope I'm saying her name right or saying that name right. I haven't heard much about this book. I just really like the cover and I really want to get to it. Don't know what it's about. If you want to know, look it up, because girl, I don't know. I just don't know. And then I also picked up On the French Kiss and On the French Kiss. I been wanting to pick up this book for a hot minute and I just haven't because I just bought other things, but it was at Walmart for $6.74, so you bet I picked it up. So definitely want to get to this book soon as well. I think this is a romance type book, but like there's also elements of other stuff in it, but definitely want to get to this book this month. Now, will I get to all these books this month, in the month of April? Probably not, because this is a lot of books. This is definitely ambitious for me. I don't know how people read like 8, 10, 17 books a month. Like, that's just like a lot to me, but this is our April TBR. Hold on, let me turn it around. Don't follow me, please. This is our April TBR. So, kind of really excited. I already started. Today is April 5th, so like, am I a little late? Yeah, but it's okay. I feel like this will be doable if I really tried. I'll keep you guys updated if I actually read all these books, but I probably won't. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. This was a little different for me, so tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you liked it, because maybe we can make this an annual little thing. And I hope you liked today's video because I enjoyed making it. I'm gonna try to hold them one more time. Period. This is a lot of books. Okay, let me put this down. I hope you enjoyed today's video because I enjoyed making it. If you liked it, you should subscribe. If you didn't like it, you should find another video on my channel. If you like that one, subscribe after that one. And I'll see you guys next time I post. And I hope you're inspired to literally pick up a book and read a book, because I swear it's so much fun. Like, you're gonna thank me later and we're gonna be besties and start a book club and live happily ever after. Well, I'll see you guys next time.